Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. I'm a little early. Hold on one second. Psych. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us for the fourth nutrition session of the IHHI initiative, the Improve Hypertension Health Initiative. My name is Athena McKay. I have the opportunity to serve as the Executive Director of Flint Innovative Solutions, where we bridge the gap between those in need and the resources which richly are available in our community. I'll do a couple of quick little housekeeping. First, if you haven't heard, here is a quick video for our mobile app, the Flint Eats app. The Flint Eats app is available through both the Google Play and Apple Store, or you can go to flinteats.org to download it, where you can include tips, deals, recipes, and reviews for local for recipes and food resources, as well as review local food retailers. We are actually doing some improvements on the app. It's been around for about 7 years, and we know circumstances change. Through the work of the Flint and Genesee County Food Policy Council, we've added we're adding community gardens, and also right now food pantries are listed. Go ahead and download the app today so you can be connected to food resources for you and your family. As this initiative is said with our nurses, Doc G, Nurse T, and Nurse Battle, we've been on this journey together for improved health. And I was asked recently why I do this work. And so I had to step back and say, okay, why exactly am I involved with the nutritional session? So that was just a snippet. I don't want to delay to bring and introduce my team, our team. So I'm going to bring on stage as well Nurse Battle as well as Doc G. Ladies, for those who may be stuck under a rock who don't know you, could you please introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what you do in community?
So I'm Nurse Tanya Battle. I am part of the team with Michigan United, and we are just out in the community raising awareness about the issues that are affecting our community and advocating for those issues, such as healthcare and gun violence, immigrant rights, um, those type of issues. And we just love to give back to our community that we were raised in, and to just help us be the best that we can be.
Yes, hi, I'm Dot G. We did a hybrid, pretty much merging public health, which is public health is the general population, and community health. So we're highly involved in our community. As Tanya stated, we're doing environmental justice, reformative rights, voter rights, Michigan United. Just check us out on our website. We got 3.5 going on. And I just want to do a moment of silence, for the issues that are going on this in our community. We've lost, several young people during this, summer. So we just want to do just a quick moment of silence, not too long, and we'll get on just to honor those that have had lost.
Amen.
And I think it can start with you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. G. Thank you so much, Nurse Battle, for joining us, for all that you do in community. And thank you, Dr. G, for taking that time. Our community is a vibrant community, a thriving community, and we will overcome this wave of violence that is plaguing our community and especially our young people together.
Yeah. We're
Yes,
stronger together. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Um, with that being said, for all of us, we eat. It may sound silly, it may sound simple, but what we put in our body actually affects our mood, our attitude, and everything about us. And so, in this campaign, Food is Medicine, we are taking this time out. We have one more session, which will be next month on the second Monday, to share some initiatives. So, I am going to flip the script just a bit, and I'm going to let our nurses start off by sharing with you heart healthy eating for life. And as we always do, please use the chat to share your information and to ask questions of our phenomenal health team. Turn it over to you, ladies.
Okay, so we're going to do the Healthy Heart Ambassador. It's a blood pressure monitor program we're doing. So today we're going to be talking about healthy eating for life, and this slide is credited to the YMCA. So next slide, please. Okay, so just a bit of an overview: the Healthy Heart Eating for Life, nutrition and blood pressure facts, what type of fats and oils to use, vitamins and minerals, healthy snacks, and dining out. Next slide. We'll go to the next slide. Okay. Nutrition and blood pressure. Eating for a healthy heart is a key to fight and prevent cardiovascular disease. We've talked about these last two sessions about the variety of fruits and vegetables, what can help to manage your weight, decrease your cholesterol, and overall your blood pressure. So, of course, we're emphasizing the healthy dietary eating pattern, which is your fruits and vegetables, whole grains, low dietary products, skinless poultry and fish, nuts and legumes, and non-tropical vegetables oil. And of course, the main thing that we always keep emphasizing is limiting salt or sodium, saturated fat, trans fats, and we know sweets. You know, I grew up in a household with both my grandmothers. They always had to have something sweet after dinner or some type of ice cream snack. So I kind of picked up that habit. So we all kind of, sometimes pick up sweets in your diet and, right things. They can also lower your blood pressure. A healthy eating pattern can be adapted based on our cultural and food preference and the medical conditions such as diabetes. We talk about diabetes. It's like American diabetic diet. It could be 1,500 to 1,800 calories, which you'll speak with your family physician or practitioner regarding those dietary restrictions. Next slide, please. Okay. So just kind of going over, like I just spoke about, how many calories a day. So for a person that's going to have 1,600 calories, you need at least 6 servings per day. And half of your servings of grains should come from grains. You're going to eat some vegetables, 3 to 4 servings a day. Remember, we talked about the dietary, the fat-free options or low-fat dairy products, 2 to 3 servings per day. Again, the lean meats, poultry, and fish, 3 to 6 ounces cooked per day. Fats and oil, just only 2 servings per day. This is a 1,600 calorie diet. And your nuts, seeds, and legumes, 3 to 4 servings per week. Sweets and sugar, 0 servings per week or 1,600 calorie diet. Now, if you're on a 2,100 calorie diet, it kind of goes up. You have a little bit more leeway. You get 6 to 8 servings per day, and it's kind of on the screen. So let's go over to the examples. So the example of 1 serving is 1 slice of bread, 1 ounce of dry cereal, and then always remember we talked about checking those nutritional labels for cup measurements on different products. So you do 1/2 cup of rice, pasta, or cereal, and then you go to your vegetables. The 1 cup of leafy vegetables, 1/2 cup of cut up raw or cooked vegetables, or some vegetable juice, 1/2 cup. So these are your servings. And then going over to that low fat or fat-free dairy product. You'll do just 1 cup of fat-free or low-fat milk. You got your yogurt in there. Of course, I love cheese, so fat-free, 1/2 ounce of fat-free cheese. So that's basically about 6 stacked dice. Can't talk today, y'all. 6 stacked dices. So that's what they'll look like for the cubes. And then the meat, we also talked about that 3 ounce of meat in about the palm of your hand. Grilled fish, remember we're kind of moving away from any fried products, but if we're going to do the fried products, we're going to use the air fryer. It's best to bake it, grill it. That decreases the fat content. And then go into those fats and oils. 1 teaspoon of soft margarine, 1 tablespoon of mayo, 1 tablespoon or teaspoon of vegetable oil, 1 tablespoon of regular or low-fat salad dressing. So, a lot of times we get our salad and it looks so delicious, but then we load it up with all different salad dressing, and then it takes away the nutritional content of our vegetables that we're eating. So nuts, 1/3 cup or 1.5 ounce of nuts. You can have some peanut butter or almond butter or sun butter if you have allergies, 2 tablespoons or 1/2 ounce of seeds, 1/2 cup of dried beans or peas, and 1 tablespoon of sugar, jelly jam, and then sherbet or ice cream, and 1 cup of lemonade. That's your sweets if you're on a 2,100 calorie diet. Remember the 1,600, they're not being as lenient in the calorie content. Next slide, I'll have Tanya take over.
All right, let's talk about sodium. So most Americans eat too much sodium. And remember, we said in our last session that we should be taking in like 1,500 to 2,400 milligrams of sodium. So, which is about a teaspoon. So most of the sodium comes from processed foods and restaurant foods. And G just told us it's very important to read our nutrition labels. Eat more servings of fruits and vegetables every day. Eat foods rich in fruits and fresh, frozen and fresh fruits and vegetables, and that can help lower our blood pressures. Eat out less, cook more at home. 1 restaurant meal can add up to a lot more than a day's worth of sodium, because we don't know what they're putting, how much sodium they're putting in their food. And then limit salty foods that are high in sodium, like breads, curd, meat, pizza, sandwiches, cheese, pasta dishes, and your snacks. Next slide, please. Fats and oils. So why do we need fats and oils? Dietary fats are essential. Fat gives our body energy and supports cell growth. Fat protects our organs and helps our body stay warm. Fats help our bodies absorb nutrients and produce important hormones as well. How many different fats are there? Basically, there's 4 major types: saturated fats, trans fats, monosaturated fats, and polysaturated fats, which is our omega 3s. Next slide, please. And I'm going to turn it back over to Doc G.
Okay, so identifying fats and oils. I didn't freeze. Saturated fats. So where are these fats coming from? So saturated fats, that's that fatty beef, lamb, pork, or poultry with skin. Remember we said take the skin off. Fat, tallow, lard, or cream, butter, other dairy products made from reducer fat, palm oil, 2% milk, coconut oil. Trans fat is partially hydrogenated oils in processed foods such as our donuts, baked goods, cakes, pies, crusts, biscuits, and frozen goodies. So, we want to stay away from those things that are in the, of course, the processed foods. Monosaturated fats is the canola oil, peanut, safflower, and sesame oil, and avocados. Those are good. Polysaturated soybean, corn, sunflower, fatty fish, that's the salmon, mackerel, herring, and trout. Those are good. Omega 3, those are good for our brain and our heart. Nuts, seeds, fatty fish, again, such as the salmon, mackerel, the fish that were listed above. So why are we going over these fats? We're always talking about, well, fat is bad. So no, there is some good fat, like the omega 3s and from the sunflower, salmon, mackerel. and nuts. So just picking the right fats. The ones we want to stay away from is the saturated fat. Okay, we did see a question pop up. Let's see here. Vivian is asking, where does soda pop fall in the gates? Now we know soda. I'm from from the South, so there's soda water, soda pop, or pop. So we know that it's so much sugar in. I can't. I think it's like maybe 16 teaspoons of sugar in a Coke. So if you remember going to reading those cans, so it's too much sugar in regular pop. And then also diet pop, that the saccharin, the artificial sugars are not, it's 0 calorie, but it's been proven scientifically when you drink diet pop, your brain still processes it like it's, sugar or something to that fact. So it actually does more harm than good. So they kind of say drinking like, ginger ale, remember we talked about earlier, staying away from those dark pops like the colas, those natures, the Sprite. But, if you're diabetic, you have to watch the sugar. But if you're going to have something, try with the ginger ales or the clear, the 7-Up, and stay away from the dark colored pops, especially. You can have root beer, especially if you have kidney disease. But like the Coke, the Pepsi, those are bad for our kidneys. And it's just, if we're counting our calories, we got 1,600 calories, right? So if you get one can of Coke, it's about 240 calories. So now you're drinking your calories, and that's not a healthy heart diet, along with the caffeine that's within the sodas.
And sometimes, people just want like the fizz of the pop or the soda, and they have sparkling water. They have sparkling water or flavored water that, can give you that go up in your nose, fizz.
So the ask is that trans fat? The omega-3s is not trans fat. That's a different, the trans fats are the bad fats, right? Remember we talked about processed foods are trans fats, like when you go to the donut shop or baked goods like the cake and the pie, because they're putting like, maybe, heavy butter or lard sometime in the crust. So, if you had to going back to reading those labels. So if it's high in calories, you want to look at the fat, high in sodium. Stay away from it. We're saying not to eat any of these. Everything is in moderation, but you have to, if you eat too many of those, you're going to have the blood pressure is going to not be regulated. Your sugars can spike, and also, weight gain from eating too much of partly hydrogenated oils. So omegas, nuts and seeds fall in the omega-3 oils. That's the oil that's like mostly comes out of the fish. And Eskimo people, they did a study and found that people that live in Alaska, they have lower incidence of heart disease because they have a large percent. They take a lot of omega-3, which is a fish, in their diet. So, like I say, those healthy nuts are good, unsalted. Because we're talking about watching our sodium content. So we're gonna, we had the back before. We'll have those packets for everyone. If you can email us too, and we can get you like the healthy heart diet as well as the DASH diet. So, but nuts, seeds, fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, herring, lake trout, the sardines, and albacore tuna are some of the fats that we should be consuming. Next slide. Okay, so now we go about talking about vitamins and minerals. So, we can go to the store and we can buy, sometimes your physician might have you get some vitamins or, over the counter, but you can get your vitamins. Everything is like Athena was talked about before. It comes from the earth, but sometimes we don't process it well. So vitamin E is again the nuts, seeds, and the cooking oil. Good old vitamin D is the sunlight, milk and cereal. But something you will to find out your levels, you go to your primary care physician, and because we live in Michigan and we don't get a lot of sunshine, especially people of color, we potentially always kind of will run a little bit low on the vitamin D. So making sure we supplement it with sunshine, and they will sometimes give you a supplement either over the counter or prescription strength vitamin D to counteract that. And vitamin D is also good for decreasing cancer risk. Potassium, again, these are like electrolytes. Potassium and the magnesium are electrolytes. Lean meat, fish, citrus fruit like orange juice, potatoes, lima beans, tomatoes, spinach, and those mushrooms and cantaloupe. Fat-free or low-fat dairy products, again, for your potassium. Again, what's the big fruit that you can get potassium from, Tanya? Bananas.
Bananas, yeah.
Yes, bananas or orange juice. So if you're taking certain blood pressure medication, um, like diuretics, you will want to make sure you monitor how much potassium you're taking, because sometimes they have medication that's spare potassium or it doesn't. So you can be on the low side or you can have high potassium, which both can cause problems with your heart. So potassium and all those electrolytes help with your contractibility of your heart and muscles. Magnesium, nuts, beans, spinach, again, that peanut butter, halibut, potatoes, and avocados. So these are just some of the suggestions that you can use, but always like refer back to your physician. If you have different chronic health conditions, it kind of makes you have to adjust. Like I said, chronic kidney disease, you don't want too much potassium, and there are certain restrictions, diabetic as well. We'll go to the next slide here. Okay. All right, so kind of talk about this. Why the emphasis on potassium? Okay, potassium reduces the effects of sodium. The more potassium we eat, the more sodium is excreted through the urine. But again, I said, remember, if we have those conditions, we have to watch how much potassium, because too much potassium is bad and not enough potassium is also bad. So we want to stay in that happy medium. And the way that you'll know what your potassium level is, of course, going to your primary care physician and having your like a metabolic panel lab work done. So potassium helps relax those blood vessels, and that helps reduce the blood pressure. How much is recommended a day? It says 4,700 milligrams per is recommended. Again, most Americans struggle to meet recommended amount. On average, we consume about 40 milligrams per day. Again, like I said, too much potassium as you get older, it's more difficult for the kidneys to remove that from the blood, and you can run into some problems. So always consult with your healthcare provider if you have kidney disease or diabetes or any type of chronic disease. So you should be also having a health home. So like, again, the thing that she talked about, we do that as well with Michigan United, connect you with the resources in the community if you need a medical home to help you with this. So we'll go to our next slide. I'll turn it over to Tanya.
So continuing talking about vitamins and minerals and the recommendations from the American Heart Association. Of course, eat a balanced meal, a healthy diet, and include a variety of all food groups. I know Dr. Shan, she always talks about eat the rainbow. So on your plate, you want to have a variety of different foods with different colors, greens, orange, red, those fresh fruits and vegetables. Consume the recommended amount of omega-3s. Aim for 2 servings of fish per week. Patients with heart disease should consume 1 gram per day of EPA and DHA. Patients with elevated triglycerides should consume 2 to 4 milligrams per day of EPA and DHA, which are the omega-3s. It's difficult to obtain. A supplement may be needed to get that serving in, but always consult back with your healthcare provider. It is not recommended to take that one takes antioxidant vitamin supplements such as A, C, or E. And it's not recommended that one relies on only supplements to receive your recommended daily amount of vitamins and minerals. Next slide, please. So choosing heart-healthy snacks. What are some examples of heart-healthy, nutrient-rich snacks? Some people like the crunch. You have your apples are crunchy, carrots are crunchy, celery sticks, and zucchini circles, green peppers, broccoli, cauliflower, and unsalted rice cakes. Some chewy snack alternatives are unsalted sunflower seeds, whole grain breads or toast, cherry or grape tomatoes, low fat or fat-free cheese, plain low-fat or fat-free yogurt, whole grain mini bagels, unsalted almonds, walnuts, and other nuts. Thirst quenchers. Water is the best choice, but fat-free milk, 100% juices with no sugar added, and low-sodium tomato or mixed vegetable juice. And if you're craving a sweet snack, unsalted, unsweetened canned fruits, um, a thin slice of angel food cake, baked apples, raisins, dried fruit, frozen bananas, grapes, or fresh fruit, and low fat, fat free, unsweetened fruit yogurt. Next slide, please. We know. Yes. And I'm going to turn that question over to Doc G.
Hold on one second.
We have 2 questions in the queue. This was the first, and this one may be another one that we can answer real quick while Doc G looks up that other question.
That one, I have time to look at it. For if you're allergic to fish, what are the substitutes? I'm allergic to fish, so I use flaxseed oil. That's omega-3. That's a good substitute for if you're allergic to fish and can't take omega-3. So flaxseed, chia seeds are good substitutes. And then for the
so EPA and DHA, I'm looking for the original net. Oh, I can't pronounce that. They're a fatty acid. They're both omega-3s. EPA is primarily known for its anti-inflammatory properties and cardiovascular health, heart support, while DHA is crucial for brain development, cognitive function, and visual health. So the body, it says, while the body can convert some ALA, which I'm getting too deep into this, it's another omega-3. The body can convert this other omega-3 into EPA and DHA. It's more efficient to obtain these supplements or this omega-3 directly from foods like fatty fish or supplements.
We got our salmon, flaxseed, walnuts. Again, like I spoke of, the chia seeds and the flax seeds. For those that are, can do oysters, anchovy, rapeseed oil, sardines, algae oil, edible seaweed is a good source. Again, those macros. So again, for us that are allergic to fish, again, like the chia seeds and the flax seed are good supplements for people that are allergic, like myself. That's what I use, and it's also documented for that. Okay. So me and Tanya, we're gonna have a conversation about this dining out and what to look for on the menu. Just last week, me and Tanya, we were in Nurse T. We were in a restaurant, so we went to a place in Detroit. We had a conference, and I'm a vegetarian, so I ordered my veggie plate. And first thing I did when my plate came, before I tasted anything, what did I do, Tanya? No, I didn't shake it. Remember, I said, we just talked about this. So out of habit, before even tasting the food is just automatic. So we had to break that cycle, break that habit of automatically thinking that I said, we already talked about telling people on the sodium, same thing for us. We take our blood pressure, we hold each other accountable. So we look out for each other. So I got that. I was like, Ty looked at me. I said, ooh. So we just back down because we just had this conversation about dining out. The food already has higher sodium than normal. So understanding what's on the menu and know what to look for. Remember, foods that are served fried, au gratin, crispy, scalloped, pan fried, blackened, sauteed, buttercream, or stuffed are high in fat. Those are your key indicators. And calories. So that's high in fat and calories. So look for steamed, boiled, baked, grilled, poached, or roasted foods. If you're not sure what's on the menu description, you always ask your server. And with me, like we stated, if you have allergies, I always ask what's in this food. So don't be taken back. Take, like Nurse T said, activate your healthcare powers, or activate your power while you're dining out, and ask your server, can you tell me more about how this is prepared? And also choose the entrees that are, like, again, the steamed, the grilled fish, chicken, lean meat. Avoid the fatty meats. If you order moose, and then if you see the fat on there, you can automatically just, remove the fat off, and ask the chef to remove the skin from the chicken. And check the menu. They do have, like, I know when you go out, they'll have items listed on the menu that are vegetarian, or they do, like a couple places I've seen had healthy heart options, like for the different omelets or variations of the food dish. So you can still eat your favorite foods, but you just can tweak them and make them a healthier option. So like if you like your fried catfish, you can take that and you can bake that or air fry it with light breading. If same thing with fried chicken, and everything is in moderation. But we do know that the more if you fry the chicken, even with the pizzas, if you have a pizza, you can take a paper towel and blot the excess oil off the pizza to help decrease the grease content. But we do know that chronically eating those foods that are, as a thing that she spoke of early, affects your mood. So if you're not eating, you like the old saying I remember growing up, I can't remember what show it was on, but it said you are what you eat. Whatever you eat, you are. So if you're consuming foods that are high in sugar, it might give you a boost right away because that's what you're looking for, like that surge of energy with the carbohydrates give you a boost. But if you're eating those, the bad carbs, and we talk about the donuts, the cakes, the cookies, they'll give you a spike in energy, then you're going to slump. So we're looking to have that balanced, healthy, heart, balanced diet. So these tips, remember, stay away from things that are fried, like au gratin potatoes, mac and cheese. But we can make a different variation of that with the low fat cheese, and also portion control when you're out. Next slide.
So eating outside the home, and again, make informed food choices and just choose the healthier option. So avoid extras like cocktails, appetizers, bread and butter, because these are often extra sources of extra fat, sodium, and calories. As for and again, like Doc G said, when we went out to the restaurant, of course they feed you, they want you to get appetizers and they give you bread and butter, and then you get full off that. But then you still want your meal because you ordered it. So, just portion control and healthier options. Ask for butter, cream cheese, salad dressings, sauces, and gravies to be served on the side instead of directly on your food. That way you can control the quantity that you eat. Be selective at salad bars. Choose fresh greens, raw veggies, fresh fruits, garbanzo beans, and reduced fat, low fat, light or fat-free dressings. Avoid cheeses, marinated salads, pasta salads, and fruit salads with whipped cream. Ask if the restaurant can prepare your food to order. For example, by leaving off or going very light on the dressings, butter, cheese, and other high-fat items, and ask if healthy substitutions or smaller portions are possible. For example, if a dish comes with French fries or onion rings, ask whether you can get a baked potato with vegetables or low-fat or fat-free sour cream and soft margarines on the side. Next slide, please.
Okay, activity. We talked about that. Okay, how much sodium is in servings for each of these items. Okay, so we got bread, frozen pizza, salad dressings, salsa. Okay, tomato juice, potato chips, and tortilla chips and pretzels, 1 ounce. Let's hit the next slide. It should tell us how much is it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so 1 ounce of bread has a serving size has 95 to 210 milligrams of sodium. So if you get a frozen pizza with plain cheese, 4 ounces, that's between 450 and 1,200 milligrams of sodium. As Tanya spoke earlier, we want to say under 2,400 milligrams, like 1 teaspoon of sodium. So some of these are going to knock you right out to almost your daily serving, just with 4 ounces. So we got the frozen vegetables. That's pretty good. It's between 2 and 160 milligrams. Salad dressing, regular. We talked about limiting that. 2 teaspoons or tablespoons is 110. The 505. The salsa, 2 tablespoons is 150 to 240 milligrams. Soup, tomato soup, that's high. You can find a low sodium variation, but the regular amount is 700 to 1260. Tomato juice is also high in sodium, 340 to 1040 milligrams. Potato chips, again, 120 to 180. And those tortilla chips are 105 to 160, not too bad. Pretzels are a little bit on there, but you need the non-salted pretzels. So these are just some of the things. So if 1 ounce of bread, so you can look on here and tell which are the highest sodium items. So if you're going for frozen pizza, that's like almost 1,200 milligrams on the higher end. And tomato juice is which you wouldn't think because you're thinking it's tomato, but it's processed. It's almost 1,040 milligrams. So that's on the higher end.
And also remember, you want to pay attention to the serving size.
Yes.
So we could say, I mean, you have to pay attention to the serving size because it could be, say 1 ounce of pretzels, but you're eating like almost the whole bag. So there's going to be, more sodium.
Yeah. And then we'll go to the next slide. So we will cover a lot of things today, talking about, what are your favorite snacks and what do you like to eat? And so we need to talk about how can we get the variation or the different, not term, or the different snacks that is available that kind of will get that crunch. Tanya kind of went over those, the crunchy, the salty. So can we replace prepackaged fruits with fresh cups with fruit cups with fresh fruit? Can we replace salty chips with something else that satisfies that crunchy? Remember we talked about the nuts. What are some of your favorite restaurant places to eat outside of home? How might you dine out? Okay, is there always you can check the menu that's available online? What are some of the ways we can modify the entree selection at home? So we talked about those things in discussion. Time kind of went over there, those things. So, another thing that we have to look at too is where you live. Sometimes you don't have access to a grocery store, and that's where Athena comes in with the app that she has, the Healthy Eat app, because helping you locate. Okay, there's a farmer's market, and then also if you have different type of benefits like SNAP benefits, maximize those. I think the farmer markets kind of give you double bucks of those different things. Looking at those options. Because a lot of times, people like, I can't afford to eat healthy, So, some of the healthier options, like a bunch of bananas, like we talked about before, they might be about $1 or $2. And then that app also shows you different places where you can go to different food pantries and to get some of these healthier options.
And then like bananas, bananas, they kind of go bad, kind of quick, but then you see them going bad. Maybe you can make like a smoothie or, use them before they go totally bad and you just have to like throw them away.
Okay, so we talked about dining out. Okay, so again, asking about the menu, and then like I say, going online and seeing, a lot of times they don't have the calories, but like those healthier options will have lists like this much calories, this much sodium in some restaurants. But again, we always go back to looking at those labels. We talked about, like just saw 4 ounces of a frozen pizza was almost 1,200 milligrams of sodium. Who would have thought it, or who would have thought that just a little sliver of pizza has that much sodium in? So it's almost, you have to really be on top of it, looking at even your journaling or even using your apps and calculating. Q, he talked about the Fit app on your smartphones, plugging in those ingredients and plugging in those calories and calculating like how much sodium is this, how much fat, and then also looking at how many calories are you consuming a day and your output of calories. Remember, creating that deficit if you need to lose weight. So if we're consuming more processed foods such as the donuts and the cakes and the fast food, some of these fast food meals, by the time you go get even the vegetarian or vegan options, you have to watch out for those that are processed, because even becoming a vegetarian or vegan and eating the processed foods, you can still be unhealthy because it's processed and the added fillers and the salt, cholesterol, and sodium. Because I'm like, I'm gonna go get me an Impossible Burger from Burger King, thinking it's flame broiled and it's an Impossible Burger. But when you go look at the calories, compare them to a Whopper and to the Impossible Burger, it's probably only like 400 something different calories. It's high in sodium, so that's not a healthier option. So just find those. Remember, grill, bake. Those are some of the healthier options versus the fried foods. And then we'll go to our next slide. Okay, we're talking about physical activity and blood pressure management. Next slide. Okay. Physical activity and blood pressure management. Evidence has shown that the regular physical activity can lead to a significant reduction in blood pressure, improve our overall heart health, which is cardiovascular risk. Moderate physical activity has also shown improving a decrease in blood pressure in patients that have high blood pressure, the term for hypertensive, who are less responsive to medical treatment. So what they're saying here, statistics and the evidence show that if you exercise, and it'll help improve your overall treatment plan, even if you're not responding to the medication. I know certain people I've come encounter with, even in my family, had to keep adding on different class, the medication, the ACE inhibitor, calcium channel blocker, like I said, the diuretics. So sometimes if we get too far gone without monitoring our blood pressure, it takes a bit to reel it back in, and you might end up on several blood pressure medications. But it showed that if you increase, your activity just a moderate amount, it can decrease your blood pressure, even if you're not responding to the medical treatment. So what is moderate amount, or what do they recommend? So 30 minutes of physical activity a day, a brisk walk, 6 to 7 days a week, about 180 each week. I think they might have upped that to 200, may result in better management and reduction in your blood pressure, for instance. So you got to put these things together. They work together. Healthy heart diet and your activity. Putting those together, and also coming up with a good treatment plan with your medical provider. If you have to take medication, making sure you're taking your medication at the same time every day. If you have any, checking your blood pressure at least twice a day. Once you get up in the morning, sitting still and quiet, as we kind of instruct the people in the program. Feet flat, relax. Don't drink coffee. Don't get on the phone talking or watching the news. Anything that will raise your, your blood pressure up.
And Dr. You mentioned, just moderate physical activity, just walking. If you can't do 30 minutes at one time, break it up. Do 10 minutes here, 10 minutes, walk around, your living room, or,
And we talked about the chair exercise before, like sit in the chair with, getting a couple the cans while you're reading the labels. You can start doing some of those things. And always, consult with your medical provider about your activity plan, but it's shown that, body in motion stays in motion.
Mm-hmm. And even I've heard people say that they just get up and just march, just march, like doing commercials, if they're, watching television. So
just finding something that works for you. Everybody has, different, tastes and physical activity. Like say the walking, they do have like those walking pads that you can get. They're really small. Get those. I love the TikTok shop. They're, inexpensive, and they're just like a flat pad that you can kind of just, walk on that, the low impact. So like say the walking, and then you can do water aerobics. It's often good if you have joint, issues or mobility issues, the water aerobics. So that's some good exercise, and that will help decrease your blood pressure. It also, give you some endorphins. Endorphins are feel-good hormones. So we endorse exercise. So now physical activity and blood pressure management. Okay, exercise. We talked about exercise-resistant hypertension. So if that means if your blood pressure is resistant to the medication, it's showing. We talked about the aerobic exercise, reduce blood pressure. So aerobic, like aerobic, and then you have prescription for special classes, like also work. Regular aerobic exercise helps with your blinding of your blood vessels, and the effects of aerobic exercise, like Tai Chi on blood pressure. Tai Chi is actually like a martial arts, but it involves like kind of like almost like yoga, a slow movements, and so it kind of helps you center yourself, and also with mindfulness. So we also want to talk about the physical activities, we talked about the diet, so also your mental. So you can do all these things, and your stress levels through the roof, and it's gonna just pretty much negate or make anything that you do not work. So you want to talk about eating, healthy heart eating, changing our diet, our blood pressure management, taking our blood pressure, exercise, like say Tai Chi. A lot of like different organizations around the community offer that, and I think a lot of senior centers like Hasselbrink have different type of like they have a drumming class with the big exercise balls that are good as well.
And for those of us that are 60 and over, Doc G mentioned just low impact exercises, and Hasselbrink, they, even just hustle classes, just dancing hustle classes. The drumming is really is fun, and it can be beneficial as well. And they have chair yoga,
Oh, yeah.
That's good too.
Oh, yes. And I do. Hasselbrink is going to purchase some pedal exercise machines. Those are good options. Yeah, I actually had one of those when I did like remote work during COVID. They have like almost like an elliptical trainer, but it's like a pedal bike, and you put it right on your desk. So while you watch the TV, and you just do that. That's also low impact and good for those that don't have trouble with balance or immobility, joint issues.
Thank you so much, Dr. G and Nurse Battle. Such phenomenal information, and you delivered it so well. Thank you, everyone who is in the audience who are providing questions. Keep them coming. We'll be on for another 14 minutes. And of course, giving a shout out to Miss Beverly Lewis over at Hasselbrink, hosting this live for her seniors so that they can get the information right off the cuff, right off the press. I want to share a couple of things in regards to both the Flint Eats app as well as my health journey or my family's health journey. The Flint Eats app was developed from the Flint water crisis. So let me shift gears just a second, ladies. So as Doc G and Nurse Battle mentioned, all of the information that they shared was very critical to our heart health. Here at Flint, we know that we were affected by the Flint water crisis. So take everything that they just said and then put another lens on top of it. So some of the things that we need to look for specifically are iron-rich foods, also vitamin C-rich foods, and calcium-rich foods. Those help us combat the lead that was in our system. It may still be in our system. So again, I want to put that lens on it. It's a little hard to read, so I'll let me see if I can change. Nope, it's still small. We'll send this out and make sure that it's on our Facebook as well for you to look at. But I'll read it for you. It says, the foods we prepare and serve for our families can help limit the absorption of lead. 3 steps you can take when choosing and preparing food can make a difference. First, choose a range of nutrition-dense food with overall health and to help help make sure that you have enough iron, calcium, and vitamin C in your body. Eat regular meals and snacks. Be mindful of the sodium, as Dr. G and Nurse Battle mentioned, and Nurse T as well. And also, when preparing food, be sure to wash and cook with safe water. So most everyone has had their pipes replaced. You can use bottled water to rinse and to wash your food continuously. So key nutrients in iron and vitamin C is iron can make it harder for lead to be absorbed in your body. Sources of iron include red meat, fish, and chicken, green leafy vegetables such as spinach, kale, and collard greens, whole grain cereals, bread, and pasta, dried fruit, beans, peas, and lentils. And then vitamin C is important for skin and bone health. Together with iron, it may also help reduce lead absorption. Vitamin C is found in many foods and vegetables, such as citrus fruit like oranges and grapefruit and juices, tomato and tomato juice, veggies such as peppers, broccoli, tomatoes, Brussels sprouts, and more. And then fruit like peaches, strawberries, pears, watermelon. And we know many of those are in season right now. And then as far as our calcium, calcium helps our bones stay strong and can help reduce lead absorption as well. Some sources of calcium include milk and milk products like cheese and yogurt. Again, green leafy vegetables such as spinach, kale, and collard greens. Calcium fortified orange juice, tofu, and canned salmon and sardines are both good for your bones. Another thing that we've shared as well is another thing that we shared is canned foods. So you want to get as many fresh fruits or frozen vegetables and fruit and meats. As Dr. G mentioned and shared that pizza has so many preservatives in it, and usually it's salt that's used in there to preserve those foods. So stay away from, get as much fresh fruits and vegetables as possible. So our Flint Eats app has some of the resources has resources for us to find some fresh food. Also, the Flint Fresh can deliver food boxes to your home for a small fee, in which you will get fresh vegetables from local farmers as well. And there is a question in the chat. So I'm bringing my experts back in as well. Please list the fruits that are lower in sugar.
I think most berries.
Berries, yep. Strawberries, blueberries, the raspberries, and melons are some of the fruits that are lower in sugar. That's just a few names.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Thank you. My journey, my father was a farmer, and I know I started the session off with trying to share my health journey. My father was a farmer. Both of my parents worked at GM, and in 2000, my mother had a stroke, and then she had a triple bypass. And so in that recovery, we actually had to shift everything. We took salt completely out of her diet. And there's Doc G, I thought, as I was thinking about this, I actually was going to go into the Army to be a LPN. And so and I'm like, that's where that connection is. The caring for people, being able to, the work that you all do are so important. Having the expertise to share that knowledge and to be trusted in the community. We really, really appreciate the work that you're doing. And it's so needed in times like these, not knowing who to trust, not knowing which information is to trust. And as we started off, together, we will be able to improve our health mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. As we close out, we have about 7 minutes. If there's any questions that that our audience have, I'm going to do another shameless plug for our upcoming food summit. Let me shift this over. Nope. There we go. Nope. Hold on 1 second, guys. Me and technology. It's really a friend. Let me do this. It's not working for me. Okay, you guys can see it. You don't need to see us. So the Flint and Genesee Food Policy Council is having a food summit. It's next month, actually, coming up very quickly, September 24th. It'll be at the Flint Farmers Market. It is for you. So leaders, growers, thinkers, and eaters. And if I'm thinking right, we're all eating something, especially with low sodium based on this information. Our sponsors are listed below. And I also want to give a huge shout out to our keynote speaker. Miss Mama Soul will be our keynote speaker, always bringing a powerful word. And so the summit is, again, to share resources in our local food ecosystem, as well as get connected, break bread together, and hear how we together can change our outcomes, our health outcomes through healthy eating, because food is medicine. We do have another comment or question in the chat. Let me bring that up. Oh, someone from Hasselspring is giving us some love. So yes, we all rock because we are Flintstones. If there's any questions or comments, Nurse Battle or Doc G, do you have any final words as we wrap up?
No, this is, we're learning, like you say, with the health experts, but we're human too. So we're, we have to watch our, behavior and our diet, as I said before, you have to find out, tailored to you. We're not trying to make it like a generic. So, make it be passionate about it. Just like, we talk about the fruits like the apples, pineapple, blueberry, peaches. You can take, make a dish like what's those things, like a dump cake or something like that with some oats on top of it and apples. So find those things that, those substitutes that, will make the difference. But tailor to you, your personality. But just remove the salt, decrease it, because, one little tablespoon is, is 24 up to 24 milligrams of sodium, which is a lot. Just thinking about it, just, reflecting on how we eat, and just, even if you're going to get some fries, some people tell them don't put in salt. I want fries that don't have salt on them. So just those different little moderations or changes can make a big difference in your heart health and your blood pressure.
And when there's a song that says, as I minister to you, I minister to myself. We're not ministering, but as we are in this together and learning and talking about hypertension and lower sodium and how to eat, choose healthier choices. This is for us too. It's for me. I know when I'm in the grocery store, everything that we talked about, or in the restaurant, it all comes back. And so it's for us too.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Miss Athena.
Quick story, like our blood pressure, we know that it fluctuates. So, when you take it, you have to have 2 higher reads above over 140 before you're diagnosed with high blood pressure. So I was a little frazzled with Nurse Tisa. She called herself using me as a student and took my blood pressure, and it was 130 over 80. She's like, Dr. G, your blood pressure is in state. I said, no, I'm not diagnosed, but so we do know that it will fluctuate. But if it's staying at that number, 140 or above, then it's time to get some medication. But she said, there you go, in denial. And I'm like, no. The first thing I said, that's not right. So those things out there. So that's just kind of some little humor that we have while we're out there. But we appreciate this journey we're on together. Now give it to Athena, because I can talk.
And thank goodness you do. I wanted to also give a shout out to Beverly Lewis and Ms. Jola Adams over at Triumph Church, who are our host sites for this part of the cohort. We got a nod from our funders, which are Greater Flint Health Coalition and the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, that we may be able to do this program again next year, possibly at a different locations or expanding. So if this program is something that you're interested, please let us know. Reach out to Flint Innovative Solutions. And we have a couple of testimonies of participants whose blood pressure has drastically lowered by this information.
That's awesome.
So thank you so much, ladies, for your diligence. And yes. We have 2 that have reached out to me directly to say that my blood pressure is now regulated. And then also one who has dropped drastically over 30 points. So that is knowledge is power. And again, together we'll be able to increase and improve our health together.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone. Please take care. Be sure to join us next month for our 4th session of, let me find this. I'm not going to do the flyer. Technology is not working for me. It's actually lowering sodium. So reducing your sodium is our last session. It'll be through our Facebook and our Instagram and YouTube channel again. Thank you so much and take care. Oh, we got a couple of things. Yes. Thank you, guys. Thank you for tuning in. And please do share this with reshare this so that others can get educated and improve their health as well. Thanks.
Let's see.